Hello folks, Bob Hodem here with the Alternative Board Miami Valley and my client and a good friend, Jeff Matthews, who is the owner of Evolution Business Advisors. Jeff, I invited you in today because I'm seeing a lot of activity with our client base. Incidentally, Jeff also handles a couple of our alternative board facilitation boards as well. I'm seeing a lot of our businesses getting a fair amount of activity from money in terms of wanting to buy their business. What's happening in the marketplace right now?
Well, first of all, you're in a low interest rate environment.
Right.
So the returns people can get from alternative investments are down considerably.
Right.
They still want to be able to get the kind of returns they've seen in the past.
Sure, yeah.
You've got venture capital money floating in. You've got some family funds coming in. You've got private equity money coming in. And just some individual investors. But people are chasing returns because the returns they can get on more passive investments are diminished.
Well, say you're one of these thousands and millions of baby boomers they talk about that have a business to sell. How can you take advantage of that?
Well, you have to be the business that people want. And simply because you're ready to sell doesn't mean that there's somebody who's ready to buy, and particularly buy at the price you want.
Right.
You've got to make yourself attractive. That means keep a clean set of books, keep your equipment up to date, keep your sales efforts really going strong, because the last thing you want to do is take your foot off the gas and look like you're kind of leveling off in terms of the growth and trajectory of your business.
Okay, so I think what I hear you saying is that a lot of these buyers are looking for the potential for growth, not necessarily how you've done in the past. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
The past matters, but past is muddy right now.
Right.
And how you came out of COVID, why you did what you did in COVID, whether you were succeeding or struggling, those matter. But it's really looking forward that's the business they're buying. They're not buying the history as much.
Well, since you advise business, especially on the financial side, are there a couple of 3-pointers you might give to the group today that's viewing this video, or things they should do to better situate themselves and prepare themselves for a possible sale?
I think, and we've talked about this in the past too. One is talk to your accountant, make sure your books are nice and clean, make sure you look very attractive, that they're not buying a problem.
Right.
Think about other channels that you could be expanding into and spend. It may not make sense to spend it, but spend the money to begin to get into other channels, because it looks like a growing business that's going to thrive under new ownership.
Okay.
So those are the kind of things. Treat your people well, because we've got a real problem in this market with the ability to hire and retain. Make sure you're keeping your key people, because if you want to step out of this business, you got to have those folks that already know how to run it in place.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting.
Another thing I'll point out, and I mentioned this in an earlier one too, is it's a wonderful time to borrow money. And if you're one of the people that wants to buy versus the folks that want to sell, go get some money now. Don't wait for the transaction. Go talk to your banker, secure some additional financing, so if you find that opportunity, you are in a position to move.
Okay, cool. Good to know, yeah. And from what you're seeing right now, from the time that someone takes an offer till they end up closing on a business, I mean, it's several months, isn't it?
Oh yeah. You've got to count on, I think you're still in a position where you can get a deal closed this year, but the deal volume will increase in the fourth quarter pretty dramatically if the tax law changes take place.
Okay.
So if you want to get it in under the current tax laws, that's a good reason to talk to your CPA and make sure that's what you really do want. It's not a bad time to start. You should probably have started, but
it seems to me what I'm hearing is if you're ready to sell your business, don't flip it into neutral, but keep it in gear and press the accelerator.
Oh, exactly.
So then you've got a good solid business that people will say, I want to have.
Right.
In the buyers. Well, great. Thanks for your comments today.
Very
Jeff
good.
Matthews with Evolution Business Advisors and Bob Hodem with the Alternative Board, Miami Valley.